You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Jen.
And I'm Megan, and we're two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way.
And today we are talking about one of my favorite topics. So I apologize in advance if I am long-winded and cut you off and things like that.
No.
I get super, super excited. And it's funny because this was a topic that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But I am so passionate about social media. And I know it is such a I guess a trigger for a lot of people because, you know, social media is another job, another, thing on your plate as a small business owner. But in the scheme of life these days, and just with where the world is going with AI and all the amazing things that you can use for your business, social media is so important to have. And we kind of have a few topics, but I just know that I'm going to be so passionate and get into it because I truly have seen the success of social media with my business, and I just love sharing that for others. So today we're going to kind of share some tips, what works for us, what doesn't really work, and just get you to enjoy social media again. Yay! Do you want to start with one of yours?
Yes, sure. So I have 5 social media post ideas and then 5 general notes that I wanted to share. So maybe we each, popcorn. We go back and forth.
Love that.
My first important post that I think you could make, if you're struggling for ideas and you're like, oh, I don't know what to post, or it's just like overwhelming for you, this is a really good episode because we are giving away these free ideas that you can use. And social media is like a great free commercial. I think that you've penned that in a past episode. And I love that because it's so true. You have a platform for free that you can talk to anybody about for the whole world to see. And I think we're both the same this way, that I haven't spent any money on advertising except for like business cards or, my website fee, things like that. I haven't spent any money on like advertisements. Yeah. I've never done any Instagram ads, Facebook ads. We were both on the knot for a tiny period of time and it didn't work out for either of us. And we didn't get any return on that. So I think I can confidently say that both of us have successfully grown our businesses just from advertising on social media for free.
Well, so just to preference that, I have paid for ads. So I have.
Oh, you have?
I have. Yeah. So I've done a few. And when I say paid for ads, it's like $25. And I do it when I'm like, for example, the one that I just did, I did $25 in a matter of, I think it was 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
I was able to capture my target audience for, the holiday mini photo shoots that I did. So that to me, it was a quick period of time. I wanted to get in front of more people. Mm-hmm. And what I did was I targeted like the local towns that I was going to be surrounded by.
Gotcha.
I don't know the benefit of it. I don't know if I saw success. I don't know if I got more customers because of it. We did have an amazing turnout. So I just don't know how if it worked or not.
Okay.
And the
interesting.
Go ahead.
No, interesting. I didn't know that you had ever paid for ads.
I have.
I've heard people talk about it, but.
And then I think I did a few times on Facebook because that is where my target audience mostly is. So, and I'm just not active enough on there that I want to be. So I have done it on there.
Gotcha.
And the only other thing outside of social media that I have paid for was there is a company called CT Food Trucks, and they have a division of mobile bars. So that's the only other thing. I think it was like $125 for the year, like nothing crazy. But I did see success on that too.
Cool.
So that was just kind of a plug I wanted to put in because I have paid for stuff, but the knot was not a success whatsoever. At all. Okay, go ahead with yours.
Okay, so the first post idea I have is to make a what is your business all about post, like the why of your business, what you're all about, what do you do, who are you, but make it kind of, instead of like an about me, unless your business is super, super personal, kind of make one that's like about us and like in our process. So an about me post would be a different post than an about Megan Ann Imagery post in my eyes. So about Megan Ann Imagery, I would probably talk about my experience and how I like to pose and how I describe my style and what my favorite thing to shoot is. That would be like, who is Megan Ann Imagery, and discussing my why. The other post my second post idea about me, that'd be getting to know me as a person, talking about my favorite foods, talking about where I live, my history with photography, talking about just a more personal kind of thing. So that one would be a post of yourself, a picture of you. And one of my little rule of thumbs that I've actually been slacking on the past couple of months, but that I've been doing pretty consistently for the past 3 years since starting, is in each like grid view of my feed. So when you scroll, I think it's like 3x4 or something that fits on your phone. In each one of those chunks, I try to make sure that there's a picture of me in that group. So when you scroll on your phone like once and then like twice, I try to make sure that there's 1 or 2 pictures of me like in each time that they swipe down, because when people go to your page, they're looking for more information. They want to learn more about you. And I feel like the more that they see your face, the more they are to connect with you and be like, okay, that's who I'm looking at right now. That's who I'm going to be working with. So that's just a little rule of thumb for me. But yeah, that's my first post idea, is like the why of your business.
I love that. Just to tag team off that, when I first started, I posted a lot about me because I didn't have content. So I was like, new business owner, this is who I am, this is that. And then I stopped doing it for a while, and I felt like people wanted to see who was behind the business. And even now that I have a team, I still post about me because at the end of the day, I'm the one that they're talking to in the beginning. I might not be at their event, but I'm the one who is going to be responding to the emails.
Right.
I'm the one who's going to be, for the most part, setting up the trailers or dropping them off or picking them up. And I think in any service-based or product-based business, people want to know the person behind the social media.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to have an about me on your website, and just like show who you are, because I think it brings more of like your authenticity out.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that a post idea that I have is when the seasons change, your social media should change in a way. So what I mean by that is we do, and this could be different in different businesses. Like ours, you do fall weddings, you do spring weddings, you do summer weddings.
Yep.
So I feel like with me, we have a different cocktail menu for every season. So like we have our spring, our fall, our winter, and our summer. So when a little bit before that season is starting, I start to like tease those cocktails. And I'm very lucky that I have content from the past 3 years that I can reuse. And if you go to my Instagram, and I noticed this recently, you'll see like the seasons changing with my photos. And
I like that.
Yeah. And you don't want to post like a summer picture in the winter, like unless it's like a funny, like, cold weather's coming, like let's remember, or like Christmas in July, like those are funny ones.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But like you want people to be excited to book you for that specific time frame.
Right.
So that's kind of like one that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, no, I do like that too. I hadn't really considered that too much, but now that you're saying it, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I do like it when I'm scrolling through different photographers.
Yeah, like it's funny. I'm scrolling through mine right now, and like I see all the browns and the oranges and the pumpkins. Yeah. And then I'm starting to see like the Christmas and the holiday, and it's interesting. And of course, you can always. Now I'm going a little off topic, but the 3 pins on the top.
True.
Do you want to like talk about that? I know we talked about that before, but I think you said it really well, what you should have up there.
Yeah. Those 3 pins on Instagram, you can pin any post that you've ever made to be viewed as the first 3 in your grid. So I think we both have pretty much the same idea of posts for those 3. One of them is an about me post. One of them is my favorite session, because I want people to see my best work, and so I'll have and sometimes circulate it to be like a post that I'm really loving at the time. And I do kind of change it for the seasons too, actually, now that, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I recently did a giveaway for my 3rd anniversary of business, which was in July. And so I would take that down if it didn't have all of these testimonials on it, because part of the giveaway was that I had to have, or part of the giveaway to enter was to share a testimonial about working with me, because it was a giveaway for past clients. And so to enter, they had to do a little review. And so I wanted to keep that up because I thought that would be beneficial for people that were searching for me, to see a bunch of people sharing their experience. So I might take that down at some point, but right now I like that where it is.
Yeah,
but I think having the about me, they get to see a picture of you, hear a little bit about you, one of your favorite products, photos, drinks, one of your favorite things about your business, and then a third one. What's your third one? What are your three?
Oh, so mine are about me. The second is a video, like a post of a wedding, because I want people to understand I do weddings. And it's actually not a bride. It's actually, I'm looking at it. Not that you guys can see it, but go to my Instagram, The Vintage Horse. It's a bridal party walking in. And I feel like one of the guys is like, I'll show Megan, but like one of the guys is chugging a beer and the other is a bridesmaid like toasting her drink. And I just thought that shows like the Vintage Horse is fun. We have fun. We show a good time. And then the third is just a bride holding a champagne glass. It's actually from the styled shoot that we did.
Cool.
At Smith Gardens. So I feel like those represent like my business as a whole, but it's funny now I want to change them to like holiday ones because right now I am looking to book holiday parties, and I feel like if someone comes to my Instagram and sees that, maybe one of those will kind of like spark an interest.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Cool.
What is your next one? I think I went last, so go ahead.
No, I did, and then I made you do the.
Oh,
the
okay.
So you do your next one.
All right. My next one was my next post idea was to share 5 of your favorite blanks. So for me, that could be like 5 of my favorite poses, 5 of my favorite venues, 5 of my favorite something, to share my work, share my photos, but then also give like a little explanation of, why I love something, because again, that'll help people resonate with me and say, oh, if Megan likes that and I like that, then we might get along. So for you, that could be like 5 of your favorite cocktails or 5 of your favorite something. And that could work for any business. If you're like a product-based business, 5 of your favorite products, 5 of your favorite whatever. I don't know. I thought I
love that. And to plug into that, that's also a great opportunity to get people to go to a newsletter if you have one. Oh. So that's something that I will talk about later, but newsletters are so important, and I slack on it, but every time I see someone who is on my newsletter or something, they always make a comment like, so how I do my newsletter is I do 3 of my favorite cocktails of the month. I've been doing it once a month. So it's like 3 top cocktails for this month to make at your next gathering or whatever. And then with that, I link it to my blog, which is linked to my website. So it helps my SEO, but it's just like it doesn't take me long. I use AI for a lot of it now. I have it and I get a lot of my recipes from Pinterest, and that I get my recipes from Pinterest that I make on my own with my own cocktails. So I know that they're good because I might change the recipe around a little bit. And then the recipes that I put on my newsletter are drinks that we serve on, for our events. So it's a catch-22, if you do those 5 topics and then you get them to your newsletter, which could be a link in your bio. But it's like a plug to get people to go into your newsletter. So I think that's interesting.
That goes into one of my general notes, was a call to action, is making sure that in all your captions, in your Instagram stories, if it's applicable, while you have their attention, call them to take action into your page. So instead of just sharing something and being like, ta-da, share something and be like, ta-da, and click this for more, or click this for blah, 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 to get them to go to your website or to get them to go where you want them to go.
With that, I haven't done this, and I don't know exactly how to do it. I think it's a paid thing that you have to pay for, but you know how the new thing is like comment drinks to get my new recipe, or
I've seen
comment,
that. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about it? I don't either.
I haven't done it before.
I think what it is it's a paid service where you can program it to, whatever the keyword is when someone sends it automatically sends. So it's like something you don't have to do and like be a part of, but it helps the algorithm get more comments on your posts and things like that. And it's giving your audience something.
Yeah.
and it takes a lot off your plate versus having to like respond to everything.
That would be a good idea for like a post about your newsletter. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, are you interested in receiving this newsletter?
Yep.
Comment. Cheers for
Yep.
yeah.
And then you plug
Yeah.
in your newsletter, they go to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I commented in one of those one time from a photographer who posted something about like a posing guide or like a color guide or something like that. And yeah, that was the first time I'd interacted with one, and it was so instantaneous. I was like, okay, this is definitely a robot. But it was very cool that I commented like, I forget what it was, like color wheel or whatever. And then I like instantly got a DM from her with the guide and with links and the things that she was advertising. So yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So my next one is kind of general, but I'll dive into what I mean by it. But reels are so important. And I am a big believer that reels are a full commercial for your business, which I've said a few times. And I'm also a big believer that people need to see something multiple times before they buy from you. And, you know, a real idea for my business would be creating a story. And this could be for any business actually, but I like to make people feel that they're actually attending my events. So anytime I create a reel, I try to envision start to finish. So when I'm getting content at the specific wedding or events, you know, I'm like walking in the door, or I'm walking up to the trailer,
Ooh,
or
yeah.
I'm creating the experience as if I were a guest attending the event. And then I'm watching the bartender pour a drink, or I'm getting content of me pouring a drink or something like that.
Right.
And then I'm getting content of me like handing it to someone and trying to like make them feel like they're there and they're experiencing the event and how cool it is and how fun and exciting. And then in turn, they want to go to my website. They want to book my services because they want their guests to feel cool and exciting and fun. So it's creating that story of trying to get people to envision what it would be like if they booked with you.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that perspective. I love the way that you describe that, because I didn't realize that watching it, but I really, really love that that is your intention,
yeah.
because I think it works.
And I think that's important when you're posting is like
Subconscious.
have an intention of what you want your audience to view.
Yeah.
You know, are they wanting to know what your drinks taste like? So you're giving them a recipe. Are they, and I'm just using drinks because that's mine.
That's your world.
That's my world. You know, are you wanting them to experience your events because you want them to book you? Are you wanting them to experience your product that you have? You know, is it a candle? Are you showing them how behind the scenes are also so important. And I know a lot of people do behind the scenes on stories, but it's okay to do the behind the scenes on your post too, because everyone is human. And I'm a firm believer that people want to buy from someone they like, know, and trust.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you can portray that in your reels, people are going to want to follow you. And also just on the reels topic, reels are a way to get new followers.
Elevate your photography business with Narrative Select. Focus more on creating and less on repetitive tasks like checking eyes, focus, or matching skin color tones. Say goodbye to slow software, load raw files in seconds, review images instantly, and export your selections to Lightroom in style with just one click. Call your photo shoots twice as fast using Narrative Select. Try Narrative Select plus Edit today with 1,000 free edits with the link below.
If you are a public profile, which if you're a business, you should be, and reels are a way to capture a larger audience because they're still the number one content that's being pushed. It's still short film. You know, so for example, if Megan's posting a photo and I'm posting a reel, the algorithm is probably going to post my reel over Megan's photo in the big scheme of things.
Yeah.
That's just like how it's been for a while, because what I found out is Instagram was competing with TikTok.
Yeah.
So that was the reason that reels were, you know, higher pushed and things like that. And I don't think that that's changed.
I don't think that's going to change anytime soon either, because isn't TikTok about to be banned?
Yeah, I don't
too?
know what's
Something
going on.
about that in like the new year. I feel like that's happened like every year where they're like, we're going to ban it, and then it sticks around. So you never know. But true, like being able to post things across different platforms, post the behind the scenes video reel that you made later on TikTok too. You're not putting every egg into one basket. So like if you're only posting videos on TikTok, and only posting photos on Instagram, like what happens if TikTok gets banned? All of that video content's gone. It's great to post on multiple platforms. And those were 2 topics that I had on my notes was
stop.
behind the scenes, turn all of those videos into like reels or vlog on your stories along the way during an event is really important. And then posting reels, you will gain followers, especially if you're using the right keywords, if you're doing call to actions, like follow for more, something like very simple. Or hashtags too. Hashtags are huge, especially for the keywords. Putting all of the words that relate to your business into the captions that Instagram will and Google will read and listen to. And then when people are searching for things on Pinterest, Google, whatever, Instagram, even Facebook, then some of your content is likely to pop up. Like when I just Google search Megan Ann imagery, sometimes one of my TikToks comes up instead of like my website comes up first, but just like searching your business name, like if I have my business name in the caption of some of my posts, which I sometimes do for that reason, because when people Google me, my social media is going to come up with those posts that have those words in them. So I had the same notes.
And it's also important to make sure that all your platforms are linked. Number one, it makes it so much easier for you. So for example, my Instagram is linked to my Facebook, and with Reels, they don't come over. So what I would do is I would just like copy like the shared link and put it into my Facebook if I wanted to do that. I don't know why mine don't come over. Do yours?
I think so. I think my Reels go over.
Interesting.
I don't make as many Reels as you do though, so maybe I'm wrong.
My photos automatically come over. So that is great. Make sure you're linking both. And now I've linked my Pinterest to my Instagram. Mm-hmm. So now all my videos come over to Pinterest too, which is huge because Pinterest is a platform that has been around for so long. You've taken more advantage of it because you learned a lot about it.
I did. I took a little course with somebody who was like a Pinterest expert about how to post on Pinterest, how to do the keyword thing without Pinterest flagging you as being spam. And when they came out with the Pinterest link to Instagram feature, she was raving about it and saying like, I mean, it's still try it out. It's still new. You never know. But she was like, don't give up what you did. Continue to post as you did before, just straight to Pinterest. But having the extra help with your Instagram posts linked, like keeps your account active. So that's the big thing, because Pinterest is like not everybody's first priority. Pinterest is definitely not my first priority with running my business and advertising on social media. But in the off season, when I have more time to devote to it and like really put the keywords in there and link things to my website, it can be huge, and it's for the long run. So if you have time to sit down and link things to a blog that you have, that's really helpful. And you never know when something will blow up, because I sometimes have posts and it's seasonal too, because it's a search engine and people are going to be looking for winter engagement session outfits or like city hall in the winter or like, whatever. And even if it's a post that you made a year or two ago from fall a year or two ago, those fall posts might come back just like they do on TikTok. Like TikTok circulates old posts all the time.
Yeah,
so
no, absolutely. And to go to my next idea, and it kind of goes back to like telling the story. One of the posts that I love creating is this is specific to a wedding. So I'll post a picture of the bride and groom, and I'll like almost tell a story about them. Like I'll find a picture that is not your traditional like at the altar or something where it's like they're not looking, they're having fun, they're smiling, just like a different type of a picture. Like for example, a wedding that we did 2 years ago now, which is crazy. They had a backyard wedding and it was at their house and they were sitting on their back porch. I'll show you, but they were sitting on their back porch, just like cheersing, and the whole tent was in the background. And it was like a vision of them just like sitting and soaking in all the hard work they did and then in the caption, I, kind of told their story. And I feel like that resonates with other people because they're like, oh my God, I'm having a backyard wedding.
True.
True. Try to do posts that are going to relate to your ideal client. So whatever you feel, if weddings are your ideal client, if corporate events are your ideal client, if, graduation parties are what you're targeting right now, try to do a post specific to that category. And I think you'll start to see a trend of those type of clients coming your way.
That's really sweet too. And I feel like people looking at that and seeing your thoughts on their story and like what you have to say about being there, like that's such an emotional, connective, like bonded thing too. I think that will be telling for people who are looking at your feed and being like, oh, Jen really paid attention. She really connected with us. She really knew what was going on and she really cares and wanted to be there. You know, it wasn't just about like the sale for her. Like she had fun. So
and I
like
think
that.
That's where like the whole being authentic really comes into play. And that's where like sharing your about me, sharing your story. Like I have people who tell me to this day, this is now almost 5 years into my business. That's crazy also. Who were like, I have a bride who she's getting married in 2026. She already inquired to like book with me. And she's like, I have been following you and I wasn't even engaged or like, I'm sure she like had I don't know, whatever.
Right.
But she's like, but I knew I wanted you at my wedding.
Oh my gosh.
And like stories like that. And just people are like, I saw your journey from the beginning and I loved, and I've just been like dying to have an event just so I can book with you. And like stuff like that reminds me why I started the business. It gives you that like boost of confidence again. But if I didn't share my story from the beginning, I never would have gotten that.
Right.
So like if you are a new business or if you're 1 year in or 2 years in, go back to your why, go back to your beginning and share a post about that. Like share a post. Like I haven't done this in a while. Maybe it'll inspire me to do it. But my trailer had literally hay, horse poop, all the things in it, like the dirty, ugly behind the scenes. And that was like my story from the beginning. And that's what people want to see. They want to see this transformation that I, turned it into this beautiful masterpiece. And they want to see that I'm the normal person who started from the beginning with legit, there was actually a mouse in one of the trailers too.
Gosh.
There's no more mice now, guys. Don't you worry. But he came home with us and we didn't know. We nicely let him go.
Oh, that's so nice.
My cats may have found him, but that's a whole nother story. But
you're
like
right. Yeah.
Showing the behind the scenes. Yeah. Like I'm sure there's like a camera that you first started with that you no longer have, and you could talk about that and you could inspire another photographer. Like maybe it's not your ideal client, but I'm a firm believer of like, I love inspiring other entrepreneurs too. Like that's what this podcast is all about. So it's like, don't always think your post has to be towards your ideal client. Like have it be to your coworker, have it be to another entrepreneur. Another thing, and did you do yours already?
Yeah, I have like one more if we have time for it. But
another thing is like sharing tips, I think is like, beneficial to so many different people. So like you probably have more of like tips than I probably would have, but like I could share tips on how to make the best cocktail or something like that. But that not only resonates with my ideal client, but it also resonates with another bartender who might have needed to hear that. And I follow a lot of accounts with other bartenders and other mobile bars and things like that. Shit, I forgot what I was saying now. I want to like try to start back from like where, anyway.
You can.
All right, we're just going to go somewhere else.
I'm going to edit something I said earlier. So.
Another thing that I just want to kind of remind our audience is if you don't feel social media is going to work for your business, it's not going to work for your business. It's, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's another job. It's another thing on your resume that you're adding. And if you don't enjoy it, it's going to show in your posts. It's going to show in your platform, whatever platform you're on. And with different platforms, you don't have to be on all of them. I think we have this understanding of, oh my God, everyone's on TikTok, everyone's on Instagram, everyone's on Facebook, everyone's on Pinterest. And that's not true at all.
Yeah.
I am not really on Pinterest. I am not on TikTok.
I'm not really on Facebook.
And you're not really on Facebook.
Yeah.
My ideal client, in my opinion, and you're going to hear from all these other people like, oh, well, I know, and this is, again, my experience. I have heard, oh my God, I have so much, like I get so many clients from TikTok. I get so much from TikTok. And I'm like, okay, but I don't feel passionate about posting on TikTok. So I'm not on TikTok, and that's okay. Like it is okay not to be on every platform because that is going to burn you out. And if you're not enjoying it, if you're not enjoying posting on TikTok, don't post on TikTok. You don't have to. But if you are, then post on TikTok and don't post in other areas.
I think it's important to have an account on each of these platforms and posting at least every so often. Like sometimes you come up on my TikTok and I'm like, oh, Jen's open TikTok this year. So I think it is important to like have the page and like maybe make the account and like get it going and get like a pretty good following, just so that like if something did happen to Instagram one day and that was your platform, that you're not like totally at square one, like complete zero. But also, that said, like I haven't been on my business TikTok in a while. I'm not really on Facebook. It's just linked to my Instagram, but they're not dead accounts, and it's not like that they don't totally exist, but like I'm putting majority of my eggs into the Instagram basket. Like most of my energy goes into Instagram. But what I was saying earlier about cross posting things on different platforms, like when I make a reel on Instagram, I screen record it and then I also post it on TikTok. It takes me like an extra 5 minutes with like not a lot of effort into TikTok. But I think I'm with you in what you're saying, that like if you're putting all of your energy into TikTok and all of your energy into Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and your blog and your newsletter, you're like a full-time virtual assistant for yourself. So
I just got exhausted hearing you say all of that.
yeah, like if that stuff is not your thing and it takes you a long time, because I kind of have found that the things that I enjoy doing, I'm pretty fast at. And then the things that I don't like to do take me a long time because I don't like it. You put it off, you stall, whatever. And so if Instagram is one of those things for you, get a social media assistant. Yeah. Get somebody who can write your blogs for you, or try to do ChatGPT. Like use AI where you can, like you said before. So yeah, if social media is not your thing, I would say don't give up. I would say try. Take some of the ideas that we had. These are, some free ideas that you can use today and tomorrow and next week. But if, it's something where every time you go to post, you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, and it never seems to get better, like maybe try to outsource it, and then you'll be able to have more time to do other things in your business too.
And also stop comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah, just because you don't like it, it's no big deal.
Yeah. And I think that we all are in this comparison game of, oh my God, they have more followers, they have more views on their thing, they have more likes, they have more this. And I heard it was a reel that I reposted one time a few years ago, and it was like, imagine if you got 100 likes on, or 10 likes on your post, and you got 100 views on your reel. Mm-hmm. Imagine being in a room with 100 people. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to talk to all of them. How would you even get 100 people in one room? So you have to remember that even if you get 10 likes, if you get one comment, if you get 100 views, whatever it is, that's 100 extra people that you got your business in front of that True. Potentially could be one customer for you. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of, and I'm using myself as an example, and I've kind of gotten out of this because I stopped caring about what other people think, and I still care here and there. But I feel like I was able to show up more authentically because I stopped caring what other people thought. Like I'm not big on my stories just because I don't know. I just don't have the time or energy right now.
Interesting, because stories I feel like are easier for me, and posts and reels take up more energy and time for me. So
I'm the total opposite. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like I'm probably going to go on my stories today, but like you don't have to put your makeup on. You don't have to have full glam to go on your stories. That's what a filter is for if you really feel that you want to look differently. And it's okay to use a filter. I hate when people are like, stop using filters. You know what? You're showing up. So
yeah, it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. Put that damn filter on. If it makes you feel good, girl, do what you got to do. But I really feel that social media has made us in the comparison game of like, oh my God, they're doing so much better than me. But like, you don't know their behind the scenes. You don't know their story. You don't know. They're just showing you the best of the best on social media.
Their social media could be done by a professional.
Exactly.
So like, don't compare yourself with your presence versus their presence either, because they could be paying, like it could literally be a professional behind the scenes. Yeah. So you never know.
So to kind of like wrap up today's episode, because I feel like this is like a short but juicy one.
Yeah.
But have a plan when you post. Have an idea. If you're someone who enjoys like scheduling, you can absolutely schedule your posts. In my opinion, I don't think it changes the algorithm. I don't think it changes anything. I think there was a time where it was like you have to post, live to to be seen more.
Yeah, I haven't used it enough to know.
Yeah,
I haven't
I
been into
don't
that.
typically use it. I enjoy posting when I feel inspired. So
Mhm.
that's just me.
Me too.
Another way that I get inspiration, if you're lacking inspiration, is looking at other people's posts and getting ideas. And I do a lot of reels. So what I'll do is I'll just start scrolling different reels and I'll find an audio that I enjoy. And then I'll dive more into that audio and see what other people are doing. And then I'll get an idea of what I want to post for that day. So like, you know, if it's a cocktail, like I'll find an audio I like, and then I'll see a bunch of different videos, and I'll try to figure out a way that my vision is going to work with that audio. So I like to do that. And then, you know, there was a whole thing where it's like, you have to post every single day. You have to post daily. You have to post 2 times a day. And while I do think that there are some benefits to being active a lot on social media, it's not mandatory. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Who cares? But I do think that, you know, if you are looking to dive more into social media, you do have to be active and present.
Yeah.
And you have to change your mindset of not hating social media. There's proof in the pudding that it does work.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer that, you know, I have a questionnaire on my intake form, and it's how did you hear about us? And 80% of that is either Instagram or Facebook. So,
Yeah.
and if it's not, and it's Google, I feel like at some point they went to my social media.
Probably. Yeah.
So it's like, you gotta be
Or
on
you were
it
pushed on Google because of your social
because
media.
of my social media.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So and just to quickly talk about Google, reviews are so important. Make sure you're asking clients for reviews.
I know.
It's so important.
I
Not
know.
to get off topic of social media, but it's a part of social media.
Yeah, it is.
Google is social too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are kind of the tips and the
Yeah.
fun stuff for today.
Yeah.
I hope this episode was beneficial to you, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. If you guys want to give us a review, we would love that.
We love the plug.
Yes, you can find us on, I don't know where you're listening to this right now, but we are on YouTube. If you want to watch the video episodes, if you're an audio listener, we are on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, any of the other platforms. And I think we can receive reviews for all of them, but I think Apple is the only one that we have reviews on currently. So you could be the first to review on Spotify, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think. So we hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.